When you stand for something, when that something is being fought, it is never you who's being fought, it's your why. Because if you leave that why, you'll no longer be fought.
Do you think people know their why?
I think most of them don't, because they are not in an environment that allows them to ask the question. Interestingly, the one thing I love about philosophy, it is the only place where you feel there's a freedom to ask questions as to why things are the way they are.
Have people lost the ability to ask questions, or is the place of asking questions suppressed?
Sometimes you just don't want to know the answer. You fear the answer is not something that will please you, so you prefer not to ask the question. Established that philosophy answers the why. Psychology traces the patterns.
All right.
Where is the expression?
The heart. How is it that you reached a place where you've really developed an interest on how the human mind works and why people do what they do?
When I think about how I started, now that I am aware of, I noticed as a child I was a very sharp observer. I'd see patterns, behavior patterns. So as I grew, it became part of me. I could tell things by just observing behavior.
Yeah, it's true. I think with time, I've come to understand a lot of us, there are things that are almost inherent.
Yeah.
That you can't be given by people, like being an observer, a critical thinker. It's like how we talked the other day, like how one of our friends, whenever you give them information, it's like they're very slow.
Yeah.
But then before you know it, the guy has really processed the thing and his memory is too good. He knows everything that you've talked about, but you think he's slow in his processing, but he doesn't forget anything.
He doesn't.
So out of this inherent thing, now came Didi, amefika places ako, wait, I've noticed something about myself. Let me now take time and sharpen this thing.
Yes.
And I think that's why now this platform has been born.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Because now, one thing I've come to realize, I think it's the most powerful question anybody can ask themselves in whatever they're in.
Yeah.
Why? Because when you stand for something, when that something is being fought, it is never you who's being fought, it's your why. Because if you leave that why, you'll no longer be fought.
What do you know that people need to know? That when they know that they're going to see, they're going to have light.
What everybody needs to know is, why do you do what you do? Why do you stand for what you stand for? Why do you think the way you think? That will tell what came before what you think you stand for now. So when you ask yourself, let's say for example, why do I like media?
Yeah.
Maybe it was born of a desire.
Yeah.
Because you saw somebody else doing it better.
Yes.
To somebody else, their why is they always felt drawn to it. And maybe they never saw somebody else, they just found a camera and started shooting.
Yeah.
Their why is different.
Yeah.
And for somebody else is, I can be paid. The three of them will have different relationship with the same thing.
But we've agreed they have a stand. Their stands are different.
And they're different. But the three will have a very different relationship with the same
thing. Yeah.
One, the ability to perform will be limited to money. Another one would be limited to desire, which sometimes it's a feeling. Today I feel like, tomorrow I don't. To others is like, I think this is my mission. If I don't do it, I'm not me. So what changes the three? Their why. So in everything about this life, everything, why do you want to do something is the most powerful thing. That's what defines who you are.
Do you think people know their why?
I think most of them don't, because they are not in an environment that allows them to ask the question. The why is because if you're in a place where, let's say for example, through the system, maybe for school, it's always about the right answer and wrong. Somebody cannot challenge that because they think the answer depends on the two. What if it doesn't? But they'll fear to ask. Why? Because there's no room. The answer is right or wrong. So if you've limited the two understood in such a bracket, somebody will look for a space for their why and it doesn't exist. So they feel when they ask, they're weird. So most people, I assure you, most people are in, let me just leave it.
So their mental, almost like their mental framework has been structured to respond to either or, but not to think outside the box, to really understand the matter.
Interestingly, the one thing I love about philosophy is it is the only place where you feel there's a freedom to ask questions as to why things are the way they are.
Interesting.
That's the thing. That's philosophy.
Yeah.
Actually, I found something today I wanted to read for you.
Yeah.
Now, the definition of philosophy is the study of fundamental questions about existence, knowledge, truth, reason, mind, and values. You see, where you see like there's a freedom for you to ask questions.
Yeah.
There's no limitation. Do not think about whether your answer is wrong. You have just the freedom to think. I think that's a powerful freedom, But now philosophy is not idle. You get? The core philosophy is what is real. For example, how do we know what we know? What is the foundation of that knowledge? Or what is right or wrong? But it's not limited there. What is the purpose, meaning? You get? And to make it even sound better, the word philosophy itself, the Greek term is philosophia. Do you know what that means? The love of wisdom.
Wow.
That's what philosophy actually means.
Philosophy.
The love of wisdom. So a philosopher is essentially someone who's committed to seeking deeper understanding about life and the world, not just accepting as it is.
Back to the system.
Yep.
We realize from what you've said, it's kind of positioning us in a place where we don't ask the why.
Yep.
Do you think people are not inquisitive? Have people lost the ability to ask questions, or is the place of asking questions suppressed?
I think both are true. There are places where certain questions are not allowed to be asked. And it's not necessarily you're told, no, don't ask. We are human beings and are sensitive to environment. You can tell when an environment rejects a certain question. You can tell by the body language of the people that they don't really want to talk about it. There are very few who still have the boldness to ask the hard questions. It's just many people are not ready for the backlash if the questions are very hard. And another thing is, and I don't know if it's a trauma issue or what, maybe a psychologist who's proper in that can advise. Sometimes you just don't want to know the answer. You fear the answer is not something that will please you, so you prefer not to ask the question. For sure, for somebody who is bold to ask for what they stand for, that is a stride beyond the normal. When you say this is true, why? Most people are very defensive. Because,
honestly,
you know why? Ideally, arguments were supposed to be constructive. When you ask why, you're not asking with the desire of being right or wrong. Is desiring to understand my perspective. That's the ideal.
Yeah.
That's why you find scientists would argue, but not from a place of putting the other down. It's just questioning whether their perspective stands on a solid ground. I believe we should ask questions. Why? When you look at people like Paul, he said things with questions. Sometimes I wish to do what I do not, but then I find myself to do. Yeah. And what I am supposed to do, I do not. You see that? He's speaking to you through asking a question. Why? Because you relate. When you think about even Jesus with parables, what do you think he was doing?
Yeah.
He's allowing you to see where you stand without mentioning your name.
Yeah.
So it's more of, when you ask questions, you're not asking for yourself alone. So if you limit the people who ask questions, you've limited a generation also.
You've reminded me of a book called the Talmud, something on those lines, Talmud. It's a Hebrew book. There's the Torah and the Talmud. Now, the Talmud is a book that has been written by what do you call them? They're not called sheikhs. What are they called?
Rabbi.
They're rabbis.
Yeah. And
it kind of has writings that dictate their moral standings and their social order. And what I hear about that book, it has a lot of questions like those that you're talking about.
Yes.
Like I can't quite remember, but there's something I read in the lines of what you mentioned about a man not knowing and being better than a man who knows. But yet a man who knows is in a better position. So it asks, who's better?
Nice.
You know?
Do you know there's a great philosopher named Dostoevsky?
Yeah.
And I came to know about the Nini through Jordan Peterson. He's his favorite author, actually.
Yeah.
Dostoevsky says this statement: a man who knows is sad because he lacks the excitement because he knows the possible outcomes that may exist. He's very much aware. So excitement is not something he is, I've paraphrased so that you get the concept. And then there's an opposite guy, his name is Kafka. He says the opposite. Better the one who does not know, for he lives lives like a free man.
Yeah.
So you see, those are different perspectives. They qualify as philosophers in their own right, depending on the field they stand in. But you find at least they asked the question. Because they found, okay, I know enough, but life is no longer exciting because what people settle for is below what they are supposed to.
Yeah.
You see, for him to reach that place,
Yes.
he has asked a lot of questions. He's seen patterns of society, frameworks of thinking, inherited thinking. He's seen all that. And he's like, but why do we think the way we think?
The way we think. And honestly, I feel like the place of philosophy has really been watered down in our generation. Think about it. It's because of philosophers that psychology was born.
True.
Some of these philosophers are the ones who came up with concepts that we use now in psychology.
And math, imagine.
And math. I mean, from psychology came different studies. Economics came from a place of psychology. That someone had to think and perceive life in a certain way. And out of that perception comes a study. So it makes me think, really, there's something you've talked about in this office for a long time.
Yeah.
Is it intentional that the place of philosophy is watered down? Because when philosophy was exalted, innovation came. And a lot, and I don't think the place of innovation is over. I mean, the possibilities. How could someone think about a light coming out of a source that is not the sun and being as bright, as the sun?
Yeah.
Possibilities of how the phone works. I mean, I feel like teleporting is something that can happen.
It is possible.
So what do you think about, do you think the place of philosophy is it watered down intentionally?
Yes.
Or is it just a natural process of evolution taking place?
If I want to limit growth, I'll silence the ones who ask the hard questions. So people will revolve around themselves unless somebody asks a question that's outside them. If they are few, they look crazy. They look like, we unashughulika na vitu hazisaidi. But when you think about it, as you've said, how much growth have we seen in the age of philosophers? Why was it Greek was known of where people were of sound philosophy? They asked questions that you're like how? And it wasn't a matter of profession. Socrates was a wrestler.
Really?
Socrates was a wrestler, bro.
All right.
Yet a philosopher. So your ability to ask hard questions and question life is not limited to profession.
Wow.
It's not limited.
Yeah.
It is you sitting down and think, what can we do to be better? How can we see things different? That is on you. It's on everyone. But you see, when we are busy looking for things that do not, okay, this is a better way to say it. When we do not know our why, we won't ask the questions. I think that's the best way to say it.
When we do not know our why, we will not ask the questions. So it's been watered down. People are no longer asking why. I mean, if we were to take this trail, honestly, I'd say maybe the reason why people are not asking whys, we talked about narratives. I know we're about to squeeze a very huge conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe we're talking about being in the context. If it was a book, what do you call that first page where the different titles are? what do we call this?
Table of contents.
Table of content, not content. Yeah. I mean, let me take that again. We have so much we want to talk about.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're in the table of content.
Yes.
Where we're just mentioning a lot of different things. I'm trying to map out these patterns between philosophy, psychology. In fact, let's start there. And how the place of philosophy has been watered down and what has it been replaced with. Because now we want to look at the nature of people. I mean, we are in a generation now where everyone is consuming social media. I don't know why I've been feeling like wanting to hear from you on this topic on social media. And this social media is what my perspective, I feel like it's been putting something different in people's minds. It's been conditioning people to a certain way. To what way? To the place where they no longer want to ask questions. Is it because there's information overload? And how correct is that statement?
Our generation have been blessed.
Yeah.
Or like we have abundance of knowledge. Like you can search something now and you get it now. But you see, there's a place for understanding the knowledge for it to be applicable. You know, an understanding is a perspective. You've received the knowledge. For example, I'll give a simple example. Somebody received a can of oxygen. One knew this can be used in hospital. The other one knew I can blow it up. Those are two different perspectives of the same knowledge of oxygen can do what? Can work.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
So knowledge is there. But the uniqueness of your why is you seek for knowledge that aligns with your why.
Oh, okay.
So you'll be drawn towards things that build your why do you do what you do.
Wow.
For example, I desire to challenge wrong narratives.
Yes.
That I know that really kill people's souls even without them knowing.
Yeah.
What would I do? I would study mental frameworks.
Yes.
Psychology, read psychological books. Maybe even go to school and study psychology.
Yes.
Understand behavior patterns and see what these things that we are seeing through social media and how they affect them.
Yeah.
I remember a certain guy, a parent told me.
Yeah.
And he said, this media is really destroying people. And me, I told him, no, media only amplifies what already exists. So don't blame media from the content that has always been in the society. It is just media has granted them a way to put out what it believes in. Actually, social media can already show us how a generation thinks.
Very true.
It can already. So it is an advantage or a disadvantage. It teaches us a lot.
Yeah.
So we look at it as maybe because many children are being destroyed, they're into wrong things, they are defiling themselves. There's a lot going on. So we look at it, it's a bad thing. The reason why we'd say that because we don't want to ask why and how.
Honestly. And I think these conversations are taking the route I thought they would take. Because it's leading me to start thinking now. And I think that's the whole point, to put people in a place where they think and get to really take the information and even ask the why.
Yeah.
So right here, there's a conversation I'm seeing unveiling that I wasn't seeing before.
Yeah.
And it's the conversation along the lines of, as you speak, I'm realizing, wait a minute, how much do I think about my why? And why don't I think about my why? And is there someone, somewhere, intentionally ensuring that I don't think about my why? Because I'm seeing the pattern. You've said, when someone has a why, they get knowledge and understanding, and it revolves around their why. And you see, because everyone has a why at the end of the day.
Everyone has.
But
deep or shallow, everyone
deep
has.
or shallow, you have a why. Now, your why dictates what you consume and even the output you release.
Yep.
And now you look at the output, honestly, that is being released, and you understand people's whys. let's say, are not as strong because it's a very subjective.
Their whys are influenced by narratives.
Yeah.
Because now another thing that's common in psychology is we look for place to coexist. So if I have a certain insufficiency in me and I find a place where people with the same insufficiency coexist, I'd feel safer there on a psychological level. So I'd stay there and share a why. But it's not yours. Because why? Also, psychology has that impact of telling patterns based on behavior. So me, if I feel like I am hopeless, there's a very low chance I'll sit around people who are hopeful. Even to live that shallow why that is influenced by whatever narrative that has been pushed on you. Even as a young person, for example, a teenager just finished high school, all he watches is TikToks that drain their mind. They don't build, they don't challenge how they think, all that. Give them 3 years. They will speak the same language they watched. Does it mean they are dumb? They are programmed.
The word is programmed.
They are programmed, you know, because it's the same thing. Flip it. Let's say a 17-year-old is done with high school. 3 years they're watching the STEM you were showing me in TikTok, where it's all about productive knowledge, where they think I can build this, I can build that. The same outcome will come, but different results. They will be programmed, but productive.
Yes.
You get? So what I'd urge, considering social media, number one is philosophy to never die. People who ask questions daily, you know, so that even people respond. You see these comments, they respond and they say, you know, I like the question, all that. Because it comes in the communion where people are thinking, okay, I never thought about it like that. Well, what about like this? So we are building up blocks of a skyscraper that when established, it will be a thought process that will save a generation from a certain mistake.
Amazing. Now with that, practically we can ask, so what is your why for us to be here with mics, cameras, and start this amazing podcast?
I want to challenge people to ask the hard questions. Not from a place of authority that I know everything. No. Matter of fact, join me in the journey of asking the hard questions. You know? Because again, in a generation where there's a lot of knowledge, they still have questions. Why do you think that is? All these things that are happening, it is from questions from within that they don't have the boldness to ask. Why do they do what they do? How does it affect them? You see all these things. So for me, I want to create an environment where you feel you can come, ask the hard question, and we go through that journey with you. Why are things like, why did God say, let's not do this? You know, and think soberly, not religiously, soberly. Does he benefit from you? Or is it you who benefit from what he's telling you not to do? You know, we are asking the question. And I like that approach because you are in charge. You who's asking, you are in charge. You're not under somebody. You are in charge.
Yeah.
You know, when you're asking that why, that journey of looking for the why, you are in charge. Nobody is forcing you. And also ask the people who are before us, the older generation, who still stuck to their philosophy, even when the world changed, even when the world leaned towards compromise. How did you still stay? Because you know, there is no strong, valuable why that can change a society that is never challenged. There is not even one. I usually tell you one of my greatest philosophers is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wasn't he challenged? Wasn't his philosophy challenged?
His philosophy was challenged.
Let me make it even worse. Wasn't he challenged by people who were supposed to be the church? It wasn't even unbelievers.
It was the people who were the church
Who
at
were
that
the
time.
church at that
That
time.
was the church.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it always shows you, then you as the person who's asking why, walk that journey. I realized God loves questions. Do not be fooled. Asking questions is not faithlessness. Some people fear to ask questions. They think that will prove they don't have faith. No. Matter of fact, if you ask more questions, the faster you grow. That's what I believe. God loves questions.
The more you ask questions, the faster you grow.
Yeah. So for me, EMP, the Enlightened Mind Podcast, is where we bring people with value, people who can answer some of our questions, so that we can have a wholesome, all-rounded type of person. An ecosystem that not only us in EMP, but everyone who finds themselves wanting to know something, they can feel, you know what, let me hear what these guys say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They come and say, let me hear what they say.
I think you've reminded me yesterday you're very excited about the blogging platform. What is it called?
Substack.
Substack. You're like, dude, there's a platform for thinkers. So I think EMP is here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for thinkers.
Yeah. So like here we talk, we don't shy.
Yeah.
You know, we don't, because if we shy, who's hurting? It's still us.
For sure. True.
There's no day anything is solved by being quiet.
Yeah.
Failure has crippled me.
Yeah.
Not doing things that I should have. And me asking the why fear of failure has crippled me also showed me that how many people I am limiting.
Yeah.
Because we are all made for people. There's somebody who benefits one way or another as you benefit from somebody else. So for me to be here is a big deal, because there's also somebody who will come who feel like they are, you know what, I want to come do something with these guys. They can even probably DM and say, you know, I like what you're talking about. I may have something to say. And you see, that's how you attract. It's like we're building a magnet of people we share philosophy.
Yeah.
A thinking, a way of thinking.
Enlightened minds.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where EMP comes from. Enlightened Mind Podcast. Yeah.
In fact, you've reminded me, I just watched a video during the day. And the video is very disturbing because the guy was really talking about how, you know, because we're in Kenya, probably, and because we're in this environment, we might not know how intensively whatever is going on is affecting people. I'm talking in terms of social media. And then we talk about art. He talked about why a lot of kids in America are entering the queer community, becoming the LGBTQ. He said it's because during the adolescence, these kids are exposing themselves to very the sexual things they're engaging in are too extreme, not normal. For example, you realize a boy is jacking off to a lady with ears zenye ziko hivi juu, an animation. You know, an animation character. He's sexually attracted. You see a boy being sexually attracted to an animation character, an anime character. So you realize these kids are pressing the boundaries. They don't want to see the normal way humans do, you know, sex. So you realize by the time this kid is intensively engaging in this, they lose themselves. So you're saying that's why these kids are entering depression. And it's back to their why, because their why has been watered down.
Oh, they don't know it
yet. They don't know it yet. Now, this is very interesting. I'd really want to hear the place of art. I really, for a long time, thought art was when someone draws a painting. That's art. But you defined art in such a way that every person is an artist. Explain.
For the longest time, art has been misinterpreted to skill. And that's what has crippled many. Because for those who've not acquired skill, believe they are not artists. But art is a soulish expression. It is what your soul desires to say. I'll give you an example. You may wish to show somebody affection. Many people look for gifts, but what influences those gifts? You go back to your soul to ask, maybe she likes football, I can buy her a jersey. What has influenced you? Your gift is informed from how you know somebody. You get? That is a form of art. Why? Because you've expressed what you feel through something. Now, this part where it actually ministers to people, when you draw a painting, somebody's like, wow, I want to buy that painting. You've put all your soul through a skill in that canvas for somebody to say, I love it. I used to always wonder what you'd see in these UK movies or British movies. Somebody buys an art piece for $8 million. How? And it looks like Jamas just chapad matope, nini. Until you realize what they bought was the revelation of the artist. That's when you realize, okay, it makes sense to the one who's buying.
Yeah.
Why? If I put an art piece here that does not make sense to you, the first thing you'd ask me is, what does this art mean?
Yeah.
Until he explains to you what that art means to them, it is nothing.
Looking at the art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now
Once
you start seeing it.
Yeah.
In everything. I love the Japanese. I've said it before.
Yeah.
Why? Because in their culture, they take it very seriously, like a ritual.
Yeah.
They never want to serve you without their heart being in the right place. Because they know what you receive is like pumped from the heart. I saw that there's a thing they do. If a lady is cooking for you tea, they usually use something like inakanga ni kama hii brush ya mademi ya makeup. Ile puff.
To make tea.
Yeah, so they
looks like a brush.
Yeah, so they rub it, they corrugate very slowly. If somebody rejects the tea, the lady will not cook any other tea. Okay. So if like we're together like this, she'll bring first to me, see how I receive it, to tell if she's accepted to serve. So if I taste it and I put it on the side, I say, no, thank you. She'll not serve you. She'll call another lady to do it. Because for them, she's not interpreted, I have rejected her. She's interpreted, her soul is not in the right place to serve.
Wow.
Look at that mindset.
So you're constantly working on your soul.
Exactly.
So that you serve. And I think that's why the Japanese are they're very disciplined. Mm-hmm. One time I saw they did an experiment on a subway. Mm-hmm. So they, in Japan and I think in US, and people are being given pins and told to arrange on a board. So I think you've seen that. The Americans put their pins everywhere. Mm-hmm. The Japanese put their pins on straight lines. Mm-hmm. And you see, they're so cultured because even if probably the modern Japanese, who knows,
westernized,
maybe the reason why they're like that is because their generations did things with their souls. Meaning, art actually can affect generationally. You know, maybe, let's talk about, there's something interesting you've been saying that I really want to understand. What's the correlation between philosophy, art, and psychology? Or philosophy, psychology, and art, whichever way?
We've established that philosophy answers the why. Psychology traces the patterns.
All right.
Where is the expression?
Oh, the art.
Yes.
Take us again one more time. One more time.
We have established that philosophy establishes the why. You question why you do what you do. Hypothetically, you found yourself, you know your why. So it means whatever knowledge you're looking for aligns with your why.
Yes.
And then you study the patterns of who maybe you're supposed to communicate to, the people you're supposed to attract. What would you study? Their behavior. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that your communication of your why is very much informed based on their behavior.
Yes.
Then how would you express it?
Art.
Whatever skills you have in every shape or form, is it singing? You can sing until people ask you, how do you do what you do?
Yeah.
What will you answer if it is not your why?
Mm-hmm.
You'll answer your why. I'm like, the reason why I sing is because I feel like I'm giving to people who I am. Mm-hmm. You see, somebody will describe that. Mm-hmm. They cannot help but answer their why. And if somebody doesn't have one, you can also tell after that.
Yeah.
So art is the expression. It is not limited. It is, speaking is an art. Communication is an art. Singing is an art. Cooking is an art. Painting is an art. Swordsmith. Your expression of your soul towards people through whatever skills that exist, that is artistry.
I think, as you've said, EMP is going to bring back people who are philosophers and people who marry this philosophy with psychology and marry it with art.
Yep.
So that people can bring back innovation.
For sure.
And people can be enlightened. And these enlightened minds can actually bring impact.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
As I said, this generation has a lot of access to knowledge.
Yeah.
The greatest challenge is how to decipher the knowledge for the benefit of themselves and not distraction.
And you see, you can't do that if you don't have your why.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You'll be trying whatever exists.
Yes.
Oh, there's something new. Let me try and do it.
Yeah.
Let me try this. Let me try that. And most of the times, as of now, the most content that's online is destructive, has no benefit to one's soul. And if we understand what your soul requires, it also informs your why.
Yeah.
You won't do things because you think they feel good.
Yeah.
You'll be concerned about how it affects your soul.
Yes.
And whether it builds up your why.
Yeah.
The why you do it.
Agreed. I mean, there are so many young people watching this today.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of them are very discouraged. They have, someone's why can be to come out of poverty.
Sure.
There's someone who doesn't have their why, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they come from a wealthy family.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what to fight for. Everything is given to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know. They're just like, why am I? And there are a good number of them. Probably even some of them are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have jobs. They prayed for a dream job. A good number of people I know, someone has their dream job, but now they're complaining. They're like, I'm working 12-hour shifts. I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
What's their why?
True.
What's keeping them there? Because you can never have money enough to keep you at a certain place.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really glad to touch on this conversation on why, and maybe you can give the viewers something to go home with, even as you introduce this show. So guys, as I said, ndio tumalizie. My name is Donnell. For me, it was just to kinda, it's such a weird twist we got, because he's supposed to be the host of the show, but we wanted you to feel the host of the show. Mm-hmm. So let's allow the host of the show to tell us something small, and then we call it a day.
Well, I'd finish it with this. There is a lot of discouragement outside there, hopelessness. And all that comes from what we believed to be true, and then we found it was not. For example, I know people who thought education was everything for them, and then life hit them different, and all they banked on in their life has been shaken. The idea of starting from scratch, trying to understand who they're supposed to be, is a mountain, considering probably they've spent 27 years of their life trying to become something that is it's going to disappear. Others are, the way you said, somebody maybe is from a rich family, but they don't have their why, which means they just exist. It is discouraging. Do you know many people think people who are wealthy are not discouraged? There's nothing crazy like not having the ability to wake up for something. It's very hard. You don't have even the strength to wake up. You feel like you're dragging. Okay, what am I going to do? They have money. Most people wake up for money, to go and work for money. For somebody who has, what are they waking up to do? So you find most of them going to drugs, or they just try to fill that emptiness with something. The idea of finding your why is a very personal journey, and it starts by studying you and what really interested you, even when you're small. Matter of fact, I think the best place to check was when you were small, because you didn't know how to fake. A child does not know how to fake. Interestingly, I find it interesting that people, when they grow, they perfect the art of faking. It's not really dealing with the problem.
I wish I could fake my stomach growling.
Interesting. To be honest with you, you'd be shocked. People grow up to perfect the art of faking, to act like nothing is the problem. But how will you find help And once you faked so much, it becomes even hard to ask for help because you look like you've got it figured out.
Yeah.
It's very hard to ask for help now. You get? There is no shame in trying to find yourself because I assure you, nobody cares. Nobody. You'd be shocked that once you change your why, you find peace, but people are maybe not happy because you're not the person they wanted you to be. So you are looking at external factors that does not define your internal position. You get? You're looking at LPCs like I still have what I said I had. Then what? Once they found out that you still have what they said you had, how have they helped you? So we lose ourselves trying to fit in to somebody's idea of you. Oh, what a limiting perspective. Because they do not help in any way, shape, or form. Matter of fact, I am most valuable to you, bro.
Yeah.
If I am my best version of self.
Wow.
I am most valuable to you.
Yeah.
Because like, I'd challenge you.
Yeah.
Okay, why do you do what you do?
Yeah.
Does it give you the ability, the strength to wake up in the morning? Even when you feel like you don't want to do it? Is your why strong enough to give you the strength the days where everything is not working? You'll be like, you know what? If I don't do it, just not for me, what about the people who are going to benefit from what I do? Maybe today I don't have strength for me, but do I have for the next person who this video may help them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, when you think like that, start from within, going without.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. I won't say it's easy because especially if you're used to following social media, trying to
I mean, God prepares men for their why. God prepares men to have their why correct so that they're able to do their journeys. You know, a lot of them. For you to be a solid man, a solid leader, your why has to be correct. And for that why to be developed, it took process, it took time.
I like the aspect that you brought of God.
Yeah.
You see, God respects our choices.
Yes.
We can create our own whys that has nothing to do with Him.
Very true.
But the funny thing is, with God, once you understand the depth of what impact your why will make, there's a degree of fulfillment when it works.
Wow. Amazing.
So like, that's where I'd say for me, I'd advise anyone, where you introduce God to help you find your why, it is way easier in terms of clarity. Like, okay, for me to know that I used to think like I'll always be doing media only, you know, and when it's on front of the camera, probably it's music. You get the clarity as I continued that I could offer so much more apart from my skill and all these things when I talk about some things. You see, that gives me a certain degree of fulfillment. Like the way you're saying yesterday when it was yesterday or Tuesday when I launched the first article in Substack.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd feel like that.
Dude, I actually read it after, let alone the time you read it for us. It made so much sense.
Yeah. I didn't know I could do that.
But you're a really good writer.
I didn't know I could do that.
You need to, what's the app called?
A Substack.
So every enlightened mind, let's meet at Substack, okay? Let's read that article. Yeah. We'll actually put it on we'll put a link.
Yeah, we'll put a link on the description.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I'd say your why is the first step. Because even when it is fought, you know, I think at least you're standing for something. There's a song I did with my bro knows. You remember? Tick, tick. That rapper says, you'll fall for everything if you do not stand for something. You will fall for anything if you do not stand for something. Anything that comes, you will go with if you do not stand for something. But if things come and you know what I stand for, it's cool. You pass. Okay, you go. Me, I know what I'm standing for. So it's not easy, but it's the safest place for your soul. Because if you fall for anything, you'll be carried by everything.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Amazing.
Your why is everything, bro.
So for everyone, thank you for joining this first episode. For every enlightened mind, please comment down below. Would want to hear your perspective on this topic. Would also want to hear what you have in mind concerning this. And we have just launched the EMP podcast. Pilot, what do we call it? You know, in the blog ulikuwa umeandika start, beginnings, finish. Now
development.
What do we call this?
I'd
Genesis.
I think you'd say Genesis. Like, once you understand the why, when everybody comes, when we invite people, when we start a discussion, you have an idea. You have a framework of what we want to do. Even if you do not know what the speaker will say, you can have a tell of at least hatutatoka bila jibu.
Yes.
A hypothetical solution, which we can bring more minds to find, to make something work. You know, because thinking is free. Challenging philosophies is free. You're not being punished. How will we know what we are capable of if we do not try the next thought?
For sure.
You know, that's constructive.
True.
Yeah, so
guard your soul.